Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salveson, and we are the Hazmat Guys, bringing you the knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier.
Before we get into the show, let's thank today's sponsors.
HazSim training systems have been in use across North America since 2011. Hazmat teams, firefighters, confined space specialists, and industrial safety trainers alike have found the value in the HazSim Pro system. HazSim brings real information-based decision-making to students from instructors safely and realistically. No more burning up sensors or pretending a 3x5 card is a meter in training. Visit hazsim.com for realistic training solutions.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to episode 90. We are continuing our journey through the world of cylinders.
Indeed. And I think the only thing we really have to kind of wrap up is the website.
Yeah.
The new, improved, bigger, better, faster kind of thing.
It's up and running. It's doing really, really well. We're happy with it. We're working on a couple of the tweaks. I know we've gotten a couple emails here and there about a few things, so we are working on those tweaks. And if you have any suggestions on something that you would like to see, whether it's content posted, a thought, something in the forums, a new thread, sign it up. We've got continuously people signing up for the forums every day, and we've got some good discussions going on, so let's keep it going.
Yeah, and submit photos, anything like that for right now, but I think we'll be asking for some help very soon. So, I don't know, keep your ears on, as they used to say in the 70s on the CB radio.
Your eyes on the screen in modern times, I guess.
Right, whatever.
And we got Massachusetts. I was going to say Baltimore.
That's going to be great.
It is
with our boys.
By far my favorite show of all time. Although I got to tell you, Milwaukee came really, really close. I do love Massachusetts, so hope to see you there. If you need more information about that, feel free to reach out to us. And we are going to continue on where we left off with cylinders.
All right.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to episode 91. We are finishing up our wonderful world of cylinders. We've learned so much good information that we've already forgotten about. So strap in if you are saying to yourself, what other cylinders episode? That means you came in number 3 and you've skipped 2 other prior informational podcasts. So go back and look them up.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be. But it happens. Listen, I get it. Sometimes, episodes get skipped. You don't have to listen to them. You just got to download them. Remember, that's our motto.
Right.
So what else we got?
I'm going to put out there that with this new website, we have an awful lot of traffic coming and going. People are enjoying it. However, me and Mike only we're only 2 guys. We have some behind-the-scenes people. However, we are looking for original content bloggers. So if you're interested in writing original content, and I'm not talking about even if we have a news article, we want the analysis for the article.
Yeah.
We want how-tos. We want
the hindsight 2020.
Yeah, critiques and my worst scenario, or hey, this is where I made a mistake. We want that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in doing that, send us an email at info@thehazmatguys.com, and we'll put you in the hopper. And it's a possibility that you could have the illustrious position of writing for the Hazmat Guys.
Ooh, so we need people to go to our site and blog off.
That's so good. You're killing me today. This is horrible. Oh my God! All right.
Well, let's jump back into cylinders and pick up where we left off.
All right. Let's just you know what? Let's just get into part 2.
All right.
Enough of the dilly dally.
Sounds good.
Okay.
We hit a bunch of stuff. Go back, listen to part 1 if this is the first time you're hearing a lecture on cylinders, and we're going to cover some of the standards now.
I'm cracking my hands right now. I'm cracking my. You can't hear it because my hands are very soft. I count money all day. But I just crack my knuckles because I love hazmat law. It's so nerd-like. I have a propeller on my hat right now.
It's scary. But we're going to cover some of the standards that cover cylinders, all right? And most of these are developed by the ISO, or the International Organization of Standards, which develops the standards and are associated with the gas cylinders, as well as the kind of the crap that goes with them, all the accoutrement.
Oh, all right. Well, I tell you what, the valving, and I'm sure we're going to get into this in a little bit, is one of the most telling things. That tells you more about what's in the cylinder than all that silhouette crap and
Yep.
the markings, and we're going to get into that. But compressed gases are subject to a requirement by the United States Department of Transportation, right? Canada has it. Mexico has it. A whole bunch of countries have it. But somebody's regulating what goes over the roads. And in the United States, it's the U.S. DOT, right? In Title 49, Section 173. Now, 49 is the DOT standard. It's called the CFR, the Code of Federal Regulations. Section 173 of the United States Code of Federal Regulations, which is 49 CFR 173, mandates the use of hazardous materials placards during shipment.
Right. But now, if you turn around and you look at the OSHA, the Occupational Health and Administration, they are not so concerned about how that product is made, but they're concerned more about how the worker is going to be associated with that product.
Right. And the gas cylinders themselves.
Right.
They spec it out because why? Because the worker directly reacts with this. They might not be involved in the transportation of it, but they are involved in hooking up the manifolds
Right.
and
transporting it, storing it,
storing
using it.
Right.
So OSHA's come down and they say, okay, well, this is how you should be playing with your cylinder.
All right, let's not talk about this. This is a family show. Will you please?
You know of any kids sitting listening to this
If
besides
they are,
ours?
if they
in the
are,
car,
yeah, my
and Mike
kids,
Kimura's kid.
Yeah, Mike Kimura's kid. Because he's got his own beaker set. The kid. All right, whatever. Anyway, self-assessment, right? So they want you to kind of be able to assess it, right? Are cylinders stored in the upright positions and immobilized by chains or other means? I spoke about this in the last ones. These high-pressure cylinders are much more apt because of the geometry of it to fall over. They don't have a wide base. So these lower pressure ones have much more of a width, and usually the ring is equal to the width. So it's kind of less likely for them to be knocked over. So in CGA 3.4.4 and 29 CFR, 29 CFR.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's the OSHA standard. And again, if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, we have like 2 or 3 episodes on hazmat law. By all means, especially if you're an incident commander or a unit commander, you need to know the laws in order to play the game properly.
Yeah, listen, if you've got more than 5 years on and somebody says 29 CFR and you look at them
Like what?
No, that's CPR.
Yeah.
Then you're doing something wrong, because at this stage in the game you need to be diving deeper.
Yeah.
In order to do your job good.
So let me just tell you, so those cylinders upright, mobilized by chains, that's in CGA 3.4.4 and 29 CFR 1910.101B.
B.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really specific. You're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're the best.
I did it off the top of my head.
Like that. All right. So why are we telling you the self-assessment? It's because you're going to be the ones that are out there possibly doing building inspection, walking through these facilities, and you should be able to see that something is not right. And one of the things that you want to identify right away and throw up red flags is if these cylinders are being stored near highly flammable substances such as oil, gasoline, or any kind of waste. And that's actually in CGA 3.3.6.
Another one is our cylinders stored away from electrical conductions, gas flames, sources of ignition. Or how about a substance such as a flammable solvent or a combustible waste material? That's in CGA 3.5.1.
But let's not forget 3.3.3 in the
Can't
CGI.
forget that one.
All right, because that one specifically says that you must have flammable gases separated from oxidizing gases within the storage area. So, like for example, acetylene and propane should be really far away from oxygen when they're not in use.
I don't know, this is a little known fact, and I'm going to kind of let a bit of the break down the fourth wall, a little bit of Bob's personal stuff. CGA 3.5.3. I had a little bit of it in my wedding vows.
Did you really?
Yeah, because I'm like that. Are oxygen and fuel cylinders separated by a minimum of 20 feet when in storage? Now, again, these are federal regulations. You might have a little bit different in the local or even the county or even whatever, maybe your township. But they can only make it more stringent. They can't go below it.
Right, more safer.
So, yeah, more safer. So, an example of this is a fire-resistant partition between the cylinders. that could be used.
Right. Now, I tried to pad my kids' room so that it met CGA 3.3.5, all right, which is talking about the storage room and how it needs to be fire resistant, and it shouldn't be located in sub-levels. So, like, we don't really want to be storing cylinders in basements and sub-basements, all right, and they should be in a secure area with temperatures below 125 degrees, away from radiators, sources of ignition. Basically, we want to keep these cylinders in a cool, dry, well-ventilated area.
All right, and so the last one we're going to talk about on this one is the cylinders have to be stored away from incompatibles, right? So if I have, let's say, a peroxide cylinder,
Right.
I don't want it next to an organic cylinder.
That makes sense.
I don't want it next to excessive heat. I don't want it next to continuous dampness because that could rot out the cylinder. Any salts, and we had a lot of that in Sandy, where they were in the ocean, and we have issues now. Corrosive chemicals, anything that's going to subject them to damage, we want to try to keep them away from. So there are a ton of these, and these are all lined out in CGA 3.3.7, 29 CFR 1910-101B. So if I have rusting, then I have a thinning of the wall, and these walls are specifically held for these high pressure. Remember, these are 3,000 pounds per square inch.
Yeah.
And if you have
A half
600
inch one spot.
Yeah, exactly. You think about these cylinders, you can have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of square inches. Now, put that in perspective. There is an enormous amount of pressure pushing out circumferentially along the cylinder. And so it wants to find the weak spot to blow out. So rusting is going to damage the cylinder and may cause even the valve protection cap to stick. And so what are you going to do? You're going to grab a bigger wrench, and then I'm going to turn harder, and then I'm going to squeeze it harder. And now, meanwhile, I'm crushing the valving underneath and maybe cross-threading or ruining whatever I got underneath it.
Right. Well, look on the bright side. If you're standing next to one of these and they go, you probably won't feel any pain.
Yeah, it's going to go.
It'll be pretty quick.
All right, let's take a second and listen to today's sponsor. Rails by Spectral Labs is a computer-based training game for first responders, hazmat teams, law enforcement, anybody that uses CBR&E equipment. Pretty much anybody that listens to this podcast. You can practice in realistic and hazardous scenarios that are difficult to simulate in training exercises. Things like an underground gas leak or a highway chemical spill, or even locating and identifying a high-activity radiation source. The best part? It's free. It's free to federal, state, and local agencies. So just email or call Spectral Labs and let them know the name of your agency and the hazmat instruments you use, and they'll take care of the rest. The email is training@spectrallabs.com, or the phone number is 858-207-3727, and then press 1 for the Rails team.
Oh, I do love those guys. All right, let's get back into what we were talking about. Valves. Like Bob said in the first episode, probably some of the most important pieces of information that you can gather from the cylinder is going to be on the valves. And there are a ton of different types of valves out there. It would literally be impossible for us to talk about all the different valves.
There is books. And when I say books, I mean there is a book that we have on our fire truck that is just about the compressed gas. It's the condensed
compressed gas handbook. It's like 3 inches.
It's 3 inches, and the typeface is like 6. And it has every single thing you want to know about every CGA valving. But I'll be honest, flat out, little tip from Uncle Bob, just go on your phone, put CGA valve, and then put the number, and it'll tell you what's in the cylinder. We're going to talk about them as far as our valving in an observational sense. What I mean by that is when I go up and do my 360, I'm kind of looking at that valve, because the valve geometry and the look is going to tell me a lot, but what really is going to tell me, it's going to be stamped with a number, right?
Right. And some of the other things that we're going to see when we look at the valve is going to be the threads. Mm-hmm. All right. So if I go and I take a look at a thread, and let's say that thread is a normal thread or a reverse thread, that tells me... They
call it a POL, a put on left.
Put on left. Really, something that simple has an abbreviation?
Really
put on left.
Yeah, POL. It's so stupid, but it is. It's true.
All right. So just the threading can tell us, right? If there's threads inside the valve, if there's threads outside the valves, all these things are informational points that we need to hit. We need to look at the neck. We need to see how it's tied into the cylinder, and of course we want to look at the on-off valve on the actual valve, because that's going to give us a lot of information.
You know how you know it's a POL valve?
How?
There's a notch in the nut.
A notch in the I had a nut taken off because I had a notch in it.
Moving right along. How about the pressure reduction devices, right? So you're going to have one of two different things, right? So we're not concerned about vacuum breakers on these things. These aren't tankers like you would see a rail car or an over-the-road. We're talking about something that is pressurized. So there is no need for a vacuum breaker. However, we may have a spring-loaded where if the pressure exceeds X, it will burp and then it will reseat. Whereas a rupture disc will burst, and that's the end of the show. Now, you also might see thermal blow-offs. And what'll happen is, in some of these cylinders, they'll be stacked. So what'll happen is, the rupture disc itself, let's say, for sake of the argument, that the cylinder has 1,000 pounds in it. The rupture disc will hold 750 pounds. I'm sorry, it'll hold, 750 pounds, let's say. And the thermal coupling secondary to that on the outside of it will melt at 215 degrees. So what'll happen is it doesn't want to get the gas to corrode the thermal couple. So it puts a rupture disc there between the thermocouple and the gas. And so when the temperature exceeds that thermocouple and it melts out, instantly the rupture disc is overwhelmed and it blows off. And that's actually how you're going to do it. They try to keep these corrosive gases by putting like a stainless steel rupture disc between the thermocouple, which is very corrosive. It's like a lead or some type of alloy that will burst. But we know that the rupture disc is going to go. As soon as that pressure is released, it's going to immediately burst, allowing the gas out. Sorry, I went down a rabbit hole.
No, it's okay. Rabbit holes are good. The next thing that we're going to talk about probably is the most important piece of information on the valve, and that's the CGA number. And the CGA stands for the Compressed Gas Association, and it's really in simple form a way of naming the valves. All right, because if you think about it, you got a lot of different manufacturers out there, and we need to all be on the same page. So there are many different gases, there's many different cylinders, there's many different ways of using it. So we name the valve and it kind of does things for us.
Yeah. Different types of hoses, different types of fittings. With this, all of them are different, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
could you imagine what it would be like if you made a valve and I made a valve, and if there was no standardization, we would have no way of connecting them to common cylinders.
Proprietary and all the other stuff. Now they're like kind of regulated.
Right. It's hard enough with between Apple chargers and Android chargers.
Steve Jobs, I hate you. This system allows for standardization across manufacturers, the cylinders, the valves, the products that connect to these valves. It kind of allows a guy to go from one state to another state or from one country to another country and still be able to connect and offload or onload their products.
Right. As a result, the gases coming out of the cylinders are required to go through very specific valving. And some of these gases only have one type of valve, and others have multiple types of valves to choose from.
Wait, why?
Well, because like we said before, you can be pulling from the gas, you could be pulling from the liquid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You could be doing a high volume fill, a small volume withdrawal.
Or even in like those cryo tanks, you might have a warming section.
Right.
You might have a open port filling section. You might have a liquid fill and a liquid release. So all these different valves are regulated based upon what their task is and the product they're containing. Like, for example, we've had some times where we've pulled out, it's a great picture. If you look back on our social media, there's a green cylinder that we have at our training academy that has a very unique fitting at the top. It's a very wide cylindrical flange, and it was for a lantern. And it wasn't even a propane tank. I think it was something like a butane tank, but it was from like the 20s. So not to go down the rabbit hole, but a lot of times in New York City, at the end of the
crazy
construction,
stuff.
at the end of construction, they push all the cylinders into the hole and then cover it up and build a house on top of it. So when the next guy comes in to rip up the ground, they're pulling cylinders out of the ground. And this one in particular was like from the 30s. And so there really was nothing. But the CGA, and I want to say this predates CGA, but we did track it back through the valving number. So where is the CGA number? It is stamped on the side of the valve. Usually these valves, there are some exceptions, is a soft brass valve. And they'll just go stomp with that CGA number. And it'll say CGA 380, CGA 426, CGA 1943, or whatever the hell it is. And how can we look this up now?
Well, there is the incredible dead tree, and literally it probably is about a tree per book, the compressed gas handbook. But as Bob was saying before, it really, guys, in this day and age, we're pretty much just Googling it. We want to be really careful, though, when we're Googling stuff as far as the information, and we're vetting the information, finding a couple different sources. But if you Google it and you get something like air gas, what are some of the other heavy-duty ones? Air gas. Paraco. If you land on those sites, and those are the ones giving you information, I find them relatively trustable. If you're landing on Wikipedia or like John's Facebook page, I would kind of veer away from that.
Yeah, but even if you find it on Wikipedia, I mean, and it says CGA 370, then I would go and now do a search for CGA 370 and find it on a reputable place and say, yep, that's it.
Right.
Because I mean, most of the time you look at the image of it. I mean, they look rather unique. I mean, there are some things in the middle. I mean, how much the rupture valve is or the pressure release device, whatever. But, if I can visually match up these two things, I'm pretty much in the ballpark. And now I know kind of gas I have in there, right?
Right.
So why should we do this? Why should we look it up? Because really, it gives us an idea of not only what's probably in a cylinder, at least classified, but it's going to be what was designed to go in a cylinder. And now that kind of leads us into a very unique thing, because nowadays with these home meth labs and BHO productions, they are converting propane cylinders into ammonia carriers. There are cylinders that I would show you that you would say, oh, that's a propane cylinder because everybody's used to it, but it's actually a butane carrier.
Right. Because what are the chances these drug makers are taking like the air gas cylinder course?
Not
at all,
doing
right?
It. No, but they know how to hijack some hosing, because you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's, buy the valving and a hosing, and backfill these things just by purging the loop. And I'm probably giving drug dealers. We're going to have a big spike of drug dealers that are listening.
And if you want that information, it's $5.
Yeah, P.O. Box 538.
No CODs.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna go a little bit not off topic, but we're gonna change and switch over to medical gases. We're doing a little thing on medical gases because they really have a unique set of valving to them. So it kind of lands within the valve category, and it's something called a pin index connection.
Interesting. Yes. This is a system that makes it impossible. Although I think
I can figure out a way of doing it.
There's that old joke from the right? You put a fireman in a room with 3 ball bearings. One will be broken, one will be missing, and one will be pregnant.
Right.
Right. So we can figure out how to screw up a pin index connection. So this is in a way where it can't even be cross-threaded. It can't be put on the wrong orientation. It can't be put on the wrong side. You can't put it on the wrong hose or adapter. It works off of inserting a pipe or a metal tube into like an open hold on the valve. I hope that explains it right.
Well, how is it better than screwing a valve on, you might ask, right? Is just having this big open hole in the middle of the valve? Well, the genius of the system is that the valve has other holes in it, like Bob was saying. The holes line up with pins on the adapter, so only that specific adapter that is made for that specific gas can attach to that valve.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's really smart. If they don't match up, the holes on the adapter where the gas goes into and the hole where the pins meet, they can't meet and they won't union up and there's no way for it to operate. I mean, you could turn on the cylinder and get gas out, but you're not going to get it into the regulator.
No, without a doubt. The system is made to impossibly accidentally give somebody the wrong medical gas, because don't forget, we're used to, as first responders, just seeing the oxygen gas, but there is a whole slew. There's got to be about 15 different medical gases out there in which you can see this pin index system.
Yeah. And besides the obvious no threading, the CGA number are there. And they range for anywhere from like 870 to 997. And those numbers actually cover your medical gases. So with all that, take a second and just digest it.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Hazmat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at The Hazmat Guys. And take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484.
We are always looking forward to your feedback about information or interesting incidents that you are part of. So send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com.
And remember, guys, don't just get on the job, get into the job.